Life is a pendulum swinging back and forth between pain and boredom. Today, a friend of mine will explain it to you.
Let's dive right into this explainer and confront a deeply uncomfortable truth about human nature. It's a truth that a 19th century philosopher named Arthur Schopenhauer decoded long before our modern age of endless consumerism and digital distraction. Look, we are going to explore why the very mechanism of human desire is fundamentally rigged against us from the start, and how finally understanding this trap might actually be your only key to genuine liberation.
Life swings like a pendulum, backward and forward, between pain and boredom. Let those words just hang in the air for a second. This isn't just some bleak, poetic observation. Schopenhauer is telling us that this is the ruthless, unyielding rhythm of our existence. He's laying out his core thesis right here. The fundamental driving force of reality mathematically guarantees that you will constantly oscillate between suffering and emptiness.
Schopenhauer's monumental effort in his philosophy was essentially to strip away the comforting illusions of everyday life. He wanted to decipher what he called the riddle of existence. He looked past the neat, orderly world we think we see, just to expose the terrifying, restless engine that is constantly grinding away beneath our daily reality.
So, are you truly in control of what you want? I mean, we absolutely love to think we are entirely rational beings, don't we? We believe we're the captains steering our own ships, making totally logical, well-thought-out choices about our careers, our purchases, the people we date. But Schopenhauer argues that we are completely, utterly deluded about who is actually driving. Our so-called rationality, it's just a thin layer of froth on the surface of an ocean that is so much darker.
Beneath the surface of the world, and humming deep inside every single one of us, we are driven by something he called the will. Now listen, this isn't willpower like you use to get out of bed or go to the gym. No, it is a blind, irrational, ceaseless cosmic hunger. It doesn't have some grand, beautiful purpose. It doesn't have an end goal. It literally just wills for the pure sake of willing.
To really get this, you have to understand how Schopenhauer splits reality into two sides. First, there's the world as representation. That's everything external, the separate objects, the conscious logic, the daily stuff we navigate. But then there's the world as will. That's the internal reality. And the scary part, the will isn't just out there in the universe. It is the fundamental essence inside you. It dictates every single urge you feel. Think about your daily impulses for a second. You get hungry, you desperately want a brand new car, you crave social validation on your phone. Schopenhauer is telling us that you don't actually want these things because they make logical sense. You want them because you're essentially the puppet of this ceaseless, grinding cosmic force. What you're doing is experiencing the will from the inside. It's an endless current of striving that just pushes you forward, relentlessly.
And because this will is in a constant, agonizing state of lack and need, we find ourselves completely trapped in Schopenhauer's famous psychological pendulum. On one side of the swing, you have the sheer agony and pain of not having what you want. You're craving, you're hurting. But then, on the other side, the exact moment you finally get it, bam, you are hit with the suffocating, paralyzing vacuum of boredom.
It plays out like this relentless, inescapable mathematical loop. Step 1, you want something, and you suffer until you get it. Step 2, you achieve brief satisfaction, but it evaporates almost instantly. Step 3, a fearful emptiness arrives. You're bored. So, step 4, a brand new desire emerges just to kill the time. Want, get bored, want again. It's the unyielding rhythm of the will, and it guarantees that lasting positive happiness is virtually impossible.
Now, Schopenhauer warns us that this boredom, it is not a trivial, I have nothing to watch on Netflix kind of feeling. It is profound, existential suffering. He breaks it into 3 phases. First, the world turns completely dreary and dead to you. Second, existence itself starts to feel fundamentally pointless. And third, we frantically scramble for arbitrary motives just to kill time. He actually compared these arbitrary motives to paper money, meaning they are just fake, assumed value we print out to replace real silver, all just to distract ourselves from the void.
I want you to really think about this in your own life right now. Why does that promotion you ground away at for years, or that incredible new phone you waited in line for, feel completely hollow the very next day? It's because the precise moment you capture your prize, the will abandons it. It just moves on, and it leaves you stranded there in the paralyzing vacuum of your own mind, desperately scanning the horizon for your next target.
Which brings us to the first massive illusion. Section 1, the biological con game. The illusion of romantic love.
You might want to forget the magical, starry-eyed quest for your soulmate. Dating and romance, according to Schopenhauer, are absolutely nothing more than a biological con game. The sheer intensity of being in love, the kind that makes perfectly smart people act completely irrationally, is really just the will of the species taking the wheel. It deludes you with grand promises of ultimate personal bliss, but the real agenda is simply to make sure you produce a new fit generation.
And Schopenhauer pulls absolutely no punches here. He states flat out that what we elevate in our poetry, our pop songs, and our art as profound romantic love is really just the will weaponizing our own neurochemistry against us. We are, at our very core, the will to life manifesting as an overwhelming biological drive, just wearing a very convincing mask of personal romance. So ask yourself, are your intense passions and attractions truly yours? Are you genuinely making a conscious, rational choice about your partner? Or are you just being ruthlessly manipulated by the invisible hand of nature to stay trapped in the cycle of reproduction? Because for Schopenhauer, the lover is simply a tool being used by the species. Period.
Let's pull this into the present day. Section 2. The Digital Hamster Wheel. Modern Consumerism in Overdrive.
It is wild how perfectly Schopenhauer's 19th century critique maps onto our modern digital hamster wheel. Back then, people accumulated physical objects and money as the abstract representative of their desire. But today we have infinite scrolling, heavily gamified apps, and the relentless pursuit of digital upgrades. The technology completely changed, sure, but it perfectly, ruthlessly exploits our innate insatiable deficiency.
Everywhere we look today, we are constantly bombarded with the mandate to consume, to treat ourselves, and to just enjoy ourselves. But Schopenhauer would say this is a massive trap. Yeah, it keeps the economy roaring, but it totally ensures that the pendulum swings furiously between the high anxiety of needing the next new thing and the crushing boredom that follows. It makes a life outside of consumption feel literally unimaginable. Because, honestly, how else are you supposed to spend a Tuesday night?
We are constantly sold the illusion that just one more purchase, just one more swipe on a dating app, or just one more viral post will finally bring us that lasting satisfaction. But the brutal reality? The will's needs are infinite. Every swipe, every click, every purchase is just throwing arbitrary fuel onto a fire that is biologically and metaphysically designed to never, ever go out.
But there is a way out. Section 3, the art of escape, aesthetic contemplation and compassion. Schopenhauer wasn't just a diagnostician of doom and despair. He actually provided an escape route. He reveals that the secret to temporary salvation is aesthetic contemplation. When you deeply, truly observe a beautiful piece of art, or listen to profound music, or stand in absolute awe of nature, something amazing happens in your brain. You stop asking what the object can do for you. You detach from your personal needs and you become what he calls a pure, will-less subject of knowledge. For a brief moment, the striving simply pauses.
He actually went so far as to rank the arts based on this. He placed architecture at the bottom because it's so heavily tied to the physical forces of the world, like gravity. But music? Music is at the absolute top. Music totally bypasses conscious logic. It has no physical embodiment. Schopenhauer believed that music is a direct, raw copy of the will itself. It allows us to feel the universal essence of life, but without suffering its personal, painful consequences. Beyond just the temporary escape of art, Schopenhauer points to a profound moral path, and that is compassion. Because the will is a singular, unified force underlying all reality, our separation into individuals is actually a complete illusion. Compassion is the sudden, deep realization that the person sitting right next to you is just another manifestation of the exact same suffering will that you are. It shatters the walls of your ego.
True peace, therefore, requires abandoning your individuality entirely. The root of your pain is your individual desire. Whether you achieve this temporarily by totally losing yourself in a painting in a museum, or more permanently through deep compassion and aesthetic detachment, you absolutely have to step outside of the self. And all of this leaves us with a terrifying yet profoundly liberating realization. If all your desires, your endless late-night scrolling, your romantic pursuits are really just the cosmic trap of the will keeping you sweating on the treadmill, then true freedom isn't found in finally getting what you want. The only way to truly win the game of life is to simply stop playing. So what do you think you'll find in the silence when the wanting finally stops?